Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. This has been a crazy, crazy day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excited to have you here. Let me make sure we are live on Instagram. It looks like we are ready to go. Welcome to day two of Kwanzaa. I promise to be here each and every day throughout Kwanzaa to give you a thought and insight on how you can sort of use the principles of Kwanzaa and put them to use for the betterment of your business now and throughout 2025. And I'm excited to be here for day two. I have to say, this is particularly exciting because man, it's been a crazy day. I wrote a post yesterday on Facebook that has kind of gone a little viral. And so it really digs deeply into this issue of uplifting backness, of being authentically who you are, of leaning fully into that as you are going about growing your bold, bad Black business in the same way that Beyonce does. And it has just been like moving. And I think I really, really hit a nerve with that post. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see everybody. I think if you are here from Instagram, hey, 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 good to see you. If you're here from Facebook, hello, Facebook is here. Hello, hello, everyone is here. Good to see you. And so I'm excited to really build on that concept today as I talk a little bit about the second principle of Kwanzaa, which is the most fun to say in my mind, Kujichagulia. And that means self-determination. Okay. So day two of Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia, is all about self-determination. And I would have to say, of all of the various principles that we'll be going through outside of unity, which we talked about last night, which is absolutely essential for Black businesses, especially right now, leaning fully into this concept of Kujichagulia is absolutely essential. It's very, very critical that we lean into the power that we have in our own hands via self-determination. So let me talk with you and sort of unpack with you what I mean by that and what that can look like for you as you are thinking about some shifts, maybe some front refinements, some changes you need to make in your business in 2025 in order to go to the next level. So the very first thing I want to say about why this principle is so key and so critical right now is the fact that self-determination, it could not be a more important concept to embrace as Black businesses in this moment, because the bottom line is, and I touched on this a little bit last night, and obviously we all know the lay of the land that we are living in right now. We all know who won the election. We all know, well, who they say won the election. We all know, I guess he did, but I'm not going to go down that lane. But anyway, it's kind of interesting how all that happened. But anyway, I will say this. So we know the impacts of that. We know the reverberating effects of that. And so I think the very first thing we need to acknowledge in this moment is that nobody's coming to save us. Neither do we need them to. Hey there, Kitty. Good to see you. Nobody is coming to save us. And guess what? We don't need them to save us either. Okay. I do want to say, as I have mentioned before, I do anticipate that the next administration is going to go full out, just top line 10,000 level white supremacists. And they are continuing to be like bulls in a china shop when it comes to tearing down opportunities that were erected during the civil rights movement. For those of you who have businesses that rely on government set-asides from that are specifically targeting quote unquote minority disadvantaged businesses, I can't even say with full certainty that I believe that those will be there under this administration. I don't know about the future of those. We are seeing the future of everything else that's happening. We're seeing state by state by state by state is unpacking, is dismantling, is outlawing DE&I. We are seeing the impacts of the loss of affirmative action, not only in higher education, but I would argue it has given a sort of tenor in the private sector as well, just in terms of how employees are, whether or not employees are leveraged. And or used or recruited or anything like that. And so I'm saying all that to say that we are about to live through a moment of very strong hostility towards anything that is perceived as helping the advancement of Black people. But the beautiful thing when you think about this from the standpoint of self-determination is that you understand that that doesn't mean that that's the end of your business. It may mean that you get to think about your business differently. You get to be able to set the parameters a little bit differently. You get to reshape, rehone, refocus, and really sort of lean into those areas of your business that means most to you. And you get to work with those people that you most want to work with. Self-determination means that you get to define. I want you to take a minute right now in these days between Christmas and New Year's, and particularly on the second day of Kwanzaa, to give some thought about what does that look like in my business? Who do I really want to work with in the next year and beyond? Who do I no longer want to work with? Self-determination means that you get to, in this moment, flip tables. You get to, in this moment, begin to hit the reset button. You get to, in this moment, begin to determine who you want to have, who you want to serve, who you want to have as part of your client role, and who you do not. And that is very liberating. And so I'm going to ask you to sort of lean all the way into this concept of self-determination and determine, where do you want your business to be 365 days from now? Who do you want your business to be serving by the time we get back to this place at this same time next year? And guess what? Self-determination also means that you get to determine the price of admission. You get to determine how much it will cost them to work with you. Okay. And what do you want that to look like? All right. You get to determine your future in a very, very powerful, proactive way. I'm going to ask that as you're thinking about the new version, the next level of your business, that you get very clear about the type of individuals or organizations you want to work with and the type of individuals and organizations you don't. Because knowing both sides of that is very important. Knowing who you want to work with and who you don't is critically important to be able to sort of color exactly what you are doing to attract the right people and repel the wrong people. And as I mentioned yesterday, if you decide that your strategy is that you want to go all in on the Black market, know that there is opportunity in the Black market, $1.3 trillion worth of opportunity. So go there unapologetically, fully as you, authentically, and showing up in all of the things that make you you. But if you decide that you want to go after additional markets, know that that is there for you too. However, I do want to remind you that the best way to do it is to really have an idea of how you want to show up, how you will serve, how you will solve problems, all of those things. But all of them need to be related to what you really care about, what you decide you want to do. It's really about determining the future that you want to create for yourself and how that future leans into your gifts, your abilities, your interests, and how those things intersect with the needs that are out there today. That is really it. So if you are looking at how you were last year, what your business was like last year, think about, of all the people and the organizations that you served last year, what types of people would you love to create a new reality for, in which next year that it was exactly that type of person that you want to build your whole business around? And what types of individuals or organizations are you thinking they were a pain in the butt, no pun intended, and I want to not attract that group? This is your time to get very clear about that, to state it very simply, and to be very focused, to know that when you let go of this, you can have more of that. Sometimes we are not able to elevate to the level that we want to in our businesses because we are open to any and everything, when any and everything is really not what you need. What you need are the right things. The any and everything people and the any and everything organizations will keep you so busy, so overwhelmed, take up so much of your time that you cannot focus on the things that you need to do to attract more of the people and organizations that you really want. So think about, how can you make that shift? If there's anybody here that knows that in order to do that, you need to make a shift, okay? Put shift in the comments. I want to see, is there anybody here that knows that there are some things that you need to do differently? That maybe that you need to pivot in a different direction in order to serve different people? That maybe you need to up level to the next level to serve that next tier of problem or that next tier of customer? Know that that is possible for you. But you have to be the first one to say, that is exactly what I want, and then do everything that you need between now and then to go get it. That is really what self-determination is about. It really is about being proactive and not reactive as it relates to the conditions that you are working within with regards to getting to where you want to go in your business. Proactiveness. Now, I'm seeing a few shifts down there, and that's making me feel good. I want you to know that it is possible. It is possible to shift to different consumers. It is possible to shift to even a completely different focus in your business. When I think about my career trajectory, I have shifted over and over and over again, and it's possible to do that in each level up, and each and at each point up level. So it is possible to shift from one thing to the next. And I would also say, one other thing I'll say, and then I'm going to jump because I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter tonight, um, is if you are someone who you know that this is something that you want to do, and in fact, maybe you're doing it at a smaller level now, but you are working full time right now, and you are thinking that with everything that's going on, maybe you may not have that job next year because of everything that's been said about this administration. Okay. Know that now is the time. If you are ever looking for a sign, now is the time for you to go all in your business. That's going to require you to shift as well. Shift, understanding how to make a successful shift, a successful transition from being a full-time employee and a part-time business owner to being a full-time business owner. Like, how do you do that? So I want you to understand that all of those things are possible. All of those things are something that you have the ability to do. And all of those things are something that you must do in this moment in order for you to be true to you, in order for you to be able to create the life that you know that you deserve, in order for you to be able to create the future that you know that your children need and want and desire, and that you want them to have, most importantly, right? So I say all this to say, when we think about this principle of self-determination, know that it really is around this thought that you get to decide. You get to be the master of your fate. You get to be the captain of your ship. Can't even talk tonight. You get to be the master of your ship. All right. You get to be that person. And so lean all the way into that. Lean all the way into that, because it is that reality and that freedom that it gives you that's going to allow you to get to that next level of success in your business. You were born to make a difference. And for you to be able to get there, you have to be willing to do what you need to do and be bold enough to go in the direction that you really want. Sometimes we go in directions of what we think is possible instead of what it is that we really want. Sometimes we limit our ambitions to what we think that we deserve versus what we know that we are, or what we hope, that what we wish we had. I'll put it like that. And so what I want you to know is that I'm going to challenge you to think bigger. I'm going to challenge you to dream bolder. I'm going to challenge you to be that person who is the master of her ship, right, at this moment, and say, okay, this is what I really want. All right. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a challenge tonight before I go. And that is this. I want for you to take some time over the course of this weekend to dream. And I want you to take a moment to really think to yourself, if there were no limits, if there were no boundaries, if there were no borders on my possibility, what would I want my life to look like 365 days from now? Number one. And number two, what kind of business do I need in order to make that happen? I say all that to say, to me, having really going all in this year on building a successful business is especially important for us. It is the biggest conduit to being able to determine our own futures rather than have our futures determined by other folks. And if you want to be able to have freedom over your own future, if you want to be able to have dominion over your own reality, if you want to be able to make that desire that you write down tomorrow real, know that you have the power to do it through your intellect, through your hard work, through your determination to make it happen in the form of your business, right? But you have to be determined. You have to know that it can happen, and you have to be willing to make the shifts. One last thing I'll say about shifting, and I will let it go from there. It can be scary. Anytime you go into the unknown, it is scary. Uh, and it's not gonna be easy. Honestly, whenever you're doing something new, it's a little bit of a learning curve. So there is going to be some times in that it's gonna be hard. But I want you to know that it's worth it. It's 1,000% worth it. If you want to be that person that has the ability to be the master of your fate, the captain of your ship, all right, then you have to make the decision to do the scary things. You have to make the decision to live through the hard times, and you have to be willing to put in the effort that it takes to get there. Now, I will be back because I have more to say with you about the shifts. Okay. So I'll be back with you later on this weekend. I'll be building on this series around what you need to do in order to apply the principles of Kwanzaa to your business and how that can help your business to grow. But most importantly, I want you to know that 2025, we're going to have to be able to stand on our own, and we're going to be able to stand on our own at a higher level. Now is the time for you to reach each and every ambition that was birthed in your brain and in your heart. And the beautiful thing is, you can do it. All right. All right. Well, with that said, good night. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thanks for jumping on with me here tonight. And I will see you all again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye.